Okay, we're starting the podcast, right?
No.
Now.
I mean, oh, right.
We did it! We said it at the same time.
We didn't. No, we did not. This is not.
I think we did.
No.
I think we
okay.
said it.
Goodness.
Yes.
Wow. We had better conversation topics earlier, and then we're like, oh, shoot, now we actually have to talk about what we have listed here. So I'm like...
Yeah, but here's the thing. We are great discussion people. Also, we should probably introduce ourselves. Maybe. Hello, I am one random ghost in your ear, and that is random ghost number 2. Say hey.
Thank
See,
you,
it's a
Random
ghost.
That was a reference to a Starbomb album. I have a shirt from them that Markiplier gave me.
Cherry bomb.
I didn't tell you about that very much, did I? About when I got to meet Markiplier?
You didn't really tell me anything.
Oh.
And I saw the video, and I was like, okay, Eric is there.
Yeah.
And then he's gone.
Yeah, I
What
wasn't
the heck?
exactly a big part of his video, but it was like, oh, well, I'm there. There I am. In one of
Good
his
job.
videos. Which,
I love
honestly,
it.
I think is way better than ever, like, meeting up with him at a TwitchCon or VidCon or whatever he'd be at.
Well, it's like,
MixerCon.
never meet your idols, ever.
Never?
Okay, so I've met, like, people I've looked up to, but I don't think I would ever want to actually meet and know my idol, because then the illusion is gone.
See, I don't know if the illusion was ever there in the first place for me, though. Like, I
Yeah,
always
but was
knew he was...
Markiplier an idol?
I don't know.
Or was he a favorite creator?
I'm not very good with idols. See, here's something that I wanted to put down about... I wanted to make a
False
video about
idols.
that, is just idols in general. I don't think I've ever been someone who's really had an idol, per se. It's always been like, these people who have done something really good, or something that, you know, people look up to, but I've never really felt like there's someone, like one person that I've really connected with. It's always been, who was your idol for this project? I guess I'll pick this dude, or Einstein, or the first American to go into space, you know, stuff like that. Where it's just like,
I
I
feel
think
that.
that's what people would expect me to say, because that's the stuff I was interested in. I don't know if I've ever really had an idol, like, because it's dehumanizing in a way. Like, they're still
Yeah.
people, you know?
I feel that. Like, the authors that I've met, like, I met Ransom Riggs and Tierra Maffi, which they are gems of human beings, and they're also the cutest authors that are married, and I have to gush about them. But, like, I look up to them because of the way that they write their prose, but I don't, like, idolize them as people. Like, there's not many people that I could see myself, like, honestly fangirling over, like, a lot of people I know.
Right?
Like, I have a friend who, like, cries whenever this person she likes, like, tweets. It's Matthew Gay Gubler. She very much likes Matthew Gay Gubler.
Gay Gubler!
And I'm like, I can't really, like, cry about that stuff or, like, get emotional about it. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's...
Okay.
I don't get emotional about famous people doing famous people things. And it's like,
Yeah.
part of me was, when I met Markiplier, it was one of those, like, I knew he was a normal guy. I'll be honest, I still fangirled a little bit just because I was like, oh, I'm here, meeting him. Like, an hour ago, I had no idea this was happening, and now it's happening, and now I'm in one of his videos. And it was one of those, like, there was no real, like, time for me to catch up with what was happening in my head, so I was always, like, trying to catch up with myself, like, oh my god, I'm too excited, I can't handle what's happening. So in a way, my body in itself is like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing in the world, you are, like, this is what you wanted to do since you came out to LA. But the other part of me is like, so what? Like, now that it's done, am I inspired to become a YouTuber now? Am I inspired to make content? Like, it's one of those, like, if I have an idol, is that an excuse for me to not make content because I don't have an idol? Or if I have an idol, that suddenly becomes my pressure to do something that I really like. And
See, I don't think that's how idols work. I mean, I'm not really, I guess, the greatest person to say about the idol shenanigans, but I think that maybe one aspect of, like, having an idol is that you, like, look up to them and you look up to the person that they are and all the things that they do, and when you, like, get around them, you get really excited. I mean, I'm trying to imagine this in the frame of, like, false idols or, like, God and stuff, but, like, you know, if you met God the other day, you would probably, like, have an aneurysm and die or some shit.
And then meet him again.
Be like, yo, you didn't need to do that. I'm sorry.
You might have overreacted a little bit, but hey, you get to spend more time with me. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Oh my god, that's horrible. But like,
Wow,
you get really, you get really excited and stuff, and like you're just like, oh my god, I'm in his presence or in her presence or whatever. I don't really get that way about famous people or like famous quote unquote people. I don't know. Idols, they're a thing. They're weird.
They do exist.
So Eric.
No. I was having a good talk about idols and Markiplier, and man, I just want to keep talking about that, and it's really awful. I almost got to meet 2 other YouTubers, but I was busy doing my short film that day. You don't even know who they are.
Here's the thing. My name is Randina. Over there, the person talking and gushing about Markiplier is Eric.
We never introduced ourselves.
Exactly what I'm trying to do right now.
Oh.
I mean, this is very podcast-like. If you've ever listened to My Favorite Murder, Karen and Georgia always do this, and they're great, and they're fantastic. But that's Eric. I'm Randina. We're siblings, and we're 2 hours away from each other. Well, not like 2 hours, like distance-wise.
2 hours?
We're 2 time zones.
2,000 miles.
We're 2 time zones away from each other.
Okay.
You know what I mean.
When you say 2 hours, that suddenly makes sense to me. Like, I see what you did there. But no, we are not 2 hours away.
No, we're so far away. No. I'm in the Midwest. Eric's in California. I'm freezing. He's not. It sucks.
I'm worried I'm gonna have to open a window pretty soon because it's getting too warm. It's gonna be 90-degree weather on Thanksgiving.
It's 25 degrees here. It's 25 degrees Fahrenheit.
I'm so excited to experience that for just like a month, and then immediately come back out here and be like, oh, well, that was fun. Back to where it's nice to live.
Stop it. Your state's on fire.
My state was on fire, thank you very much.
Your state will catch fire soon enough.
Nah, fam, we're gonna get so much rain this year, the drought is not even gonna exist anymore. It's like, what? Los Angeles used to be a desert? Ha! That's crazy.
Now it is a swamp.
Yeah, it's an ocean paradise.
Oh my god. Okay, despite this, we're siblings, we're starting a podcast, and it's called Debate About It.
Eric, FreediiFree. I probably should have just said that, but whatever. It don't matter.
Whatever. I have a weird name, too. It's fine.
Great podcastness.
Our podcast is called Debate About It. We're just going to pick topics, and we're going to debate about them. And we're also going to discuss things that are important to us. Like, there's a lot of things that are important to us, and we like talking about these things, and nobody likes to listen.
Actually,
usually.
I just thought of something. We never talked about a title for this.
I just called it Debate About It. I feel it.
First, okay, so I thought of 2 things. Not that I'm trying to change the podcast in the middle of the podcast, but number one, the really stupid one that I thought of was podcastrophe. Like
podcastrophe. I feel like that already exists.
Apostrophe.
It has to.
Podcastrophe. It doesn't.
What?
Wait.
Apostrophe is punctuation. I would know. I'm a writer.
Okay, maybe not that one. Podcastable? No, don't do that one. I was just gonna call this something like the podcast that saves the world.
That definitely exists.
Oh, come on! Why do people think of this stuff?
Because podcasting has been around for so long.
No, it hasn't.
We are very late in the game.
We are new. We are making something so new. It's so good. People are like, wow, what's this new and novel thing that they've started to create?
Me does Google search for debating podcasts.
Suddenly your audio to me has gone bad, but hopefully your recording sounds incredible. Also, we're gonna have to talk about
my recording isn't connected to my computer, so...
Oh, we're gonna have to talk about how we get each other our audio files, because I don't know if I have enough room on my Dropbox. We'll find out.
Here's the thing. Google Drive has this fantastic option.
Too hard. I can't do it. Nope. Except Google supports net neutrality, so maybe I can do it. I'll find a way to make it happen.
Title pending. We're going to debate about stuff, and you're going to listen to it because you like listening to people talk.
Podcast
Isn't
pending.
that right? Podcast title pending.
No, I mean, but...
Wait, do you want to use that as our title?
That's not a good sign.
Podcast
My
pending?
computer is doing something bad. What are you doing, computer?
Okay.
What the heck was that? Okay,
I don't know.
I'm sorry about that, but something just happened where... No! Windows do not update anything. Oh my god, it hurts my soul. Why are you updating right now? I'm using my computer. This is stupid. See, that's the thing. Okay, number one, I think I'm gonna have to move my mouse like every 10 minutes to keep it from like going into, he's not doing anything. I'm gonna start updating everything. Like, no! I am definitely recording something right now. You know, just throwing that out there. You see all the tabs that are open on my Google Chrome? They're not just there for looks. I'm using half of my memory right now for all of them.
Me. Opens up Google Chrome tabs. Aesthetic.
Immediately, computer shuts down. Oh god, it's too big! Why don't you use Firefox? Haven't you heard the new Firefox is supposed to be really good and fast?
See, I'm too attached to Google Chrome, but I'm sure I'll, like, transfer over at some point, because Firefox is, like, an independent... Okay, you know what? We need to stay on track. We need to stay on track.
Hey,
we're gonna debate about
we're making
things.
our own topics in the moment. We don't even have to... We can just save these other topics for later if we ever get to them. But yeah, if we want to talk about certain things, we're totally good with that. I could still,
I want to talk about pineapple pizza, because I have feelings.
How do you have feelings about pineapple pizza?
Oh my god, it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting.
You think everything's disgusting. How can you be, like, I don't remember
valid.
the word. Yeah.
Picky?
Let's go with
what?
that. No, there's a certain word for, like, how is your opinion valid if you don't like anything that has to do with that sort of a topic? Do you know what I mean? I don't know what the
I'm
word
a picky
is.
eater, but I'm willing to try anything once, you know?
Not that I'm saying your opinion is invalid, but...
Rude.
I know. As soon as I said that, I'm like, oh man, that was ooh.
So mean.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Pineapple pizza, it's like, the smell doesn't appeal to me, the texture doesn't appeal to me. Pizza is already fine with just like a little bit of meat, a little bit of cheese, maybe some veggies for some spices, but pineapple? Really?
Hey, have you ever had a Hawaiian Spam and pineapple sandwich?
Okay,
Wait.
Spam can not exist. That would be great.
Oh man, but Spam is like our bread and butter. Like Spam came from Minnesota. That's like right over. There's a Spam museum. I visited the Spam museum twice.
Why would you visit a Spam museum more than once?
Because I like how you're not like, you know, at all. You're like, why would you visit a Spam museum more than once? It's still great. It's great the first time, but the second time it's like, okay, what are you doing?
See, I understand maybe visiting it once because, you know, you're curious. You want to see what this is all about, all this whatever. And then you go and you're like, okay, Spam is everywhere, and it's like on the walls, and it's on the floor, and there's probably a picture or maybe a nice painting. I don't know.
It's on the
You
floor.
go to a Spam museum, you see it once, you've seen everything. Why would you return to a Spam museum? You know what's going to be there? More Spam.
Actually, it was freshly renovated. Let me tell you. Now let me tell you what. I'm
Jesus
sorry.
Christ.
I was going to go into a voice, but I suddenly just got tired of it. No, it was actually...
Before you even started.
It was one of those... Let me... I can't even do it right now. Now I'll tell you what.
Oh my god.
Propane and propane accessories. No.
You sound like the person from King of the Hill.
Hank Hill. Yes.
Yes.
That is exactly who it's supposed to sound like. Now that's a fine burning hell if I tell you what. I can't do the voice right now because I've got headphones on. I feel like I can't do it if I can't listen to myself.
You just can't like do voices.
I can't even.
Oh my god, sorry. I was just very
You know when we were
aback.
talking about pineapple pizza?
Fuck pineapple pizza.
Wow. Tell me how you really feel.
I just did.
Yeah, I know. That was the joke. Okay.
No, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't jive well with me. That's weird. I don't like it though. It's gross. It's gross. It's gross to me.
I'm gonna do something really quick.
Oh.
Let's look up what a pizza is on Wikipedia. So,
Okay.
a pizza is a yeasted flatbread, typically topped with tomato sauce and cheese, baked in an oven, and is commonly topped with a selection of meats, vegetables, and condiments.
It didn't say fruits.
It didn't say it's tomato. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Tomato is a vegetable.
Tomato is a fruit.
It's okay. This is a debate for another day. We have decided as a society that tomatoes are vegetables.
I actually have a total response for that. That's really... Technically, it's both. Let me just say this. We can debate about it later, but technically it's both because tomato...
Coming next week.
Tomato is a fruit because of the way it's grown and the tree that it is. But it's a vegetable when it's packed into trucks sent to grocery stores. It's packed as a vegetable.
Yeah.
So it is technically both, but it depends on what what end of what you're looking at the fruit with the tomato for.
I mean, here's the thing. As a biologist, I can say this with total and complete sincerity, but science is like 100% made up. Like,
don't tell the flat earthers that.
I mean, because like it's basically the way that we decided to like make the world labelable. Like, we just got out our little labeling set and we're like, this is a tree, and this is a fruit, and this is a vegetable, and this doesn't quite fit into either category, so we're going to decide it's a vegetable, because that logically, at least in our sense of logic, because the logic is also made up, it makes sense, you know?
I totally agree with that, and I totally get where you're coming from with that. But I will also say there are definitely vegetables that are more vegetable and fruit that are more fruit than, tomatoes. Or nuts.
I have no idea what you just said.
I don't know what I just said either. Let's not worry about it. But
okay, so pineapple pizza, we've decided, is actually disgusting. So let's move on to our next topic.
Oh my god. I like pineapple pizza. I do.
Why?
Because it's just another flavor you could put on pizza. I should tell you, actually, next time you come out here, there's a place called Blaze Pizza. It's so good.
Gluten-free?
I believe so, yes. You could have...
I mean, this is California.
But imagine, Blaze Pizza is basically the better version of Pizza Rev. It's freaking amazing. It has a ton of different options, gluten-free pizzas. They're all, like, pizzas for you. And they... Oh, gosh, it's just... I love Pizza King and Brookings. You have to make the
kissing noise. You have to go, mwah!
Mwah. I love...
Yikes.
I'm sorry.
I regret.
Anyways, I love the Pizza King in Brookings, South Dakota. I think that place is amazing. It has my favorite pizza I've ever had in my life. And I will always go back there and be the happiest person ever.
Yeah, but they don't have gluten-free pizza, so...
Well, it sucks to be gluten intolerant.
Fight me and my gluten-free body.
But if there was ever a close second, I think Blaze Pizza would be my close second. Because I've had consistently really good pizza. Granted, I also make it myself. Like, I add all the different ingredients. I mean, I don't make it, but I choose all the ingredients. It's like
Subway, but for your pizza.
It's so good. Like, you think pizzas like that would be bad, but they're really, really good. So, Blaze Pizza, sponsor me. Yeah.
But first episode in, already begging for sponsors.
No, that's just my opinion. It's like, first of all, don't hate on what other people like. Pineapple pizza can be good if people like it. And I am one of those that used to hate it, but now I'm like, pineapples are good, pizza's good, they're good together. Let's go with that. It's definitely not my first pick. Like, I wouldn't be like, what's your favorite kind of pizza? Pineapple! No, that's not me. But, it's something where it's like, I like pineapple pizza, and I'm like, alright, I'll have some of that. I'm okay with that.
Okay, I think that's a good place to leave that.
I felt like I really nailed that one.
Our next debate topic is, do you put your shoes and socks on sock, shoe, or sock, shoe?
I still
Eric.
think this is just the dumbest thing. Like, I don't know what friends you have that do sock, shoe, but I'm like, what? How does
Clearly Eric is rooting for sock, shoe.
Like, it's only like to be against your parents at that point, because you always grow up having your parents put on your socks and then put on your shoes when you're a little kid. Like, it's always been sock, shoe. So when all of a sudden you're like, nah, f*** you parents, I'm gonna put on sock, shoe, then you're like, what is Oh, my God.
You're just rebelling against your parents by putting your shoes and socks on. Shoe sock, shoe sock.
Actually, as soon as I said that, I was like, I don't know how I feel about swearing in this podcast or not. I think it's fine, but it's one of those, I don't know
We
how
could
I
always
feel
bleep.
about it. I probably will start doing that. I don't,
Or like, per episode, we can do like a different noise.
But then again, that's a whole other debate topic about censorship. Because it's not
Should
like it
we
doesn't
swear?
stop existing.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think young children are going to listen to podcasts unless their parents are like listening to the podcast and the children are just what are you doing?
And you hear that?
Yes.
Sorry, it's the,
It sounds like a puppy is like riding around on your microphone.
A puppy?
Yes. Oh my god. But
No,
like, you
it's-
know,
it's
if
the
a
paddle
parent
to
is
my... Oh, I was going to say it's the paddle to my chair that rises it up and down. I was just, like, shaking it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But like, if a parent is playing a podcast, they get the gist of the podcast after like an episode or two. And if we swear, we swear. And then if they play it for the children, obviously we're swearing for the children. But it's like approved by the parents because I don't think a child like goes out and is like, I want to listen to a podcast.
You know, when I was doing
Yeah.
the short film, one of the dudes that was helping us out was the director's uncle. And this uncle, he's an older guy, but he just recently got into, like, photography, film, and started buying all this equipment and getting some experience in it. And it was kind of, he's a cool guy. But he's also the guy who never seems to swear unless he's around a child. Like, I never understood this. Like, I would never hear him swear, but then just randomly. Like, there was just this one time I'm at this table having a little bit of a snack, and he's out putting together some of his equipment, and our director's younger brother happened to be there, and he's like in 4th or 5th grade, I think. He's really freaking smart. Like, imagine like how I was when I was a kid, but this kid's
Eric,
like that. I can't
when we
even
were in
explain
3rd
it.
grade, we were studying black holes and string theory.
This kid
You
is
can
the
make
same
that
way.
alignment.
Like, me and him got along so well because I was like, oh my gosh, you're like me. You're like this little kid, but you're really smart. I love the way he talked to his mom because he talked to his mom like, he would like throw logic at her. Like, and she's like, you're a kid. You're not supposed to talk like this yet. And it was so interesting to watch the two of them. But
We had to be like that when we were kids because the only way we could get anything is if we logicked it to our parents.
it was so, like, it was like I was a kid again, just like watching him like play around with like the situation. I was like,
Vicariously living through
Yeah.
children you meet on the street. But anyway, swearing Uncle Man.
Yeah, so this kid was there along with him and myself off in the corner doing his own thing, and all of a sudden I just hear from him as he's constructing this stuff. Fuck. I look at him like, did you just like you see this? And he looks up. He's like, shit. he. Oh my god. Like, it was so funny. Like, he realized that he said it with him there. And I think I saw the kid raise his head just a little bit. I'm trying to remember his name really hard right now. Like,
I mean, you don't have to say the kid's name.
I just feel bad because I should know his name. But I saw him, like, slightly raise his head, but then not raise it because he's like, if I raise my head too much, they'll notice and think that it was a mistake. And I was like, number one, I noticed all of that, and that's cool. But, like, he was thinking that. The uncle was like, oh, God, I can't. And I'm like, okay, seriously? I only hear you swear when you're around him. Like, is this some, like, secret plot to get him to be like normal adults, where we just
Oh my
swear
God.
all the time?
Don't ruin the children.
Don't
ruin them.
I had no idea what was going on there. But yeah, that
They
was
deserve so much
basically.
better.
This came from censorship, and this all came from socks and shoes, and then saying the fuck word. I mean the F word. Ooh.
Oh my god, Eric, you just said the f word.
Oh no,
See, my problem with swearing is that, like, I swear a lot over my friends and whatnot, but then I get home and I'll be like, oh, f, and Mom will be like, oh, expletive-free weekend, and I'm like, where did this come from?
I do love that she
Let
does
me
that, though.
swear! But also, if I'm ever working around children, I'm also like, frick-frack.
Frickin' That's
I'm
what
making a
I'm
beat.
talking
I'm
about you.
beatboxing. What?
I don't know, I was just saying words. And
Okay, but here's the thing. Why sock, sock, shoe, shoe? Why do we do it that way?
I
Why?
think you need to tell me. Who do you know that does this, and why are they still
The sock, shoe, sock, shoe?
Yeah, how are they surviving in our modern day world doing stuff like that?
I mean, I think it's mostly like you get one sock and you're like, ooh, my toes are nice and cozy, but they're not quite warm. So let me put on that shoe. And then you're like, oh man, my foot is a frozen block of ice. No, let me put a sock on it. Oh, there's a shoe. Let's do that. Also, I guess if you're running out of a burning building and you have a sock on and you put a shoe on and then you get your other sock on and you're like, one foot is actually protected. And then the other foot is just warm. Eric? You were just gone for so long, I was nervous.
I'm not happy about this. No. This needs to stop. This cannot be a
It's
thing.
hard to argue it. I mean,
It's hard to argue it.
Sock, sock, shoe, shoe, it makes a lot of sense to me logically. And I know I have to, fight for the sock, shoe. But, currently, I'm just wearing two socks. I don't have one sock on and the other sock off, in preparation to put a shoe on. Because that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
I guess, I'm arguing it, but I don't believe in the cause. So, sock, sock, shoe, shoe is better than sock, shoe.
I also just realized, this is totally off topic. Number one, sorry that I was moving my microphone if that was loud. Number two, I realized something recently, that my computer being on the same table as my microphone is really awful because I don't have one of those stabilizers that cancels out all of the sound that comes from just vibrations. So this whole time I might have had my microphone on a surface that is making it very loud and annoying whenever my microphone is on break or I'm not talking. So I've now put it on top of a roll of toilet paper, hoping that will, what do you say? That will make it so the vibrations dissipate before it gets to the microphone.
That's physics. Okay, let's talk about net neutrality.
Oh, God, why?
Well, it's an important issue, and we care about it, and you have a lot of feelings, and I have a lot of feelings about net neutrality.
I just like that we kind of never went anywhere with the sock shoe. I just got mad.
I mean, we tried, but honestly, it's hard to debate that
all right.
But honestly,
So, net neutrality. Well, wow. This has been something in development. How much have you heard about this?
Oh my god. Well, it started in 2015.
Yeah, that was when
it's been a
things
long
started
time
getting
coming.
real. Yeah, no, it's one of those. Everything seemed safe and fine until what's his name? Ajit Pai, I think, is his name. He's the,
I don't know.
He's the chairman of the FCC, I believe.
Let me do a quick Google about.
Ajit Pai. And I can never not say it in an accent, which is really odd. But
Ajit V. Pai. Yeah, you're right.
But this dude, chairman of the FCC, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's this Republican, along with two other Republicans and two Democrats who are on the board of the FCC, who are going to be voting on the 14th, deciding, yes, we're going to vote to see if we are going to remove net neutrality and make it so companies can now charge whatever they like for speed lanes in the internet. And
You know
it's
what's
one
so
of those.
frustrating about that?
What's up?
Literally, this is every single year this has come up. Every single year this has come up. They've had a massive outpouring of people being like, please don't do this.
my God.
Just let's not. And after they opened up the whole FCC to be like, hi, tell us what you think. Should we do this? Everybody's like, no. And then the chairman's like, I'm gonna do it anyway. It's like, you're supposed to be representing the values of the people that you're in charge of, not squandering it so that you can have personal, political, and power gain through the economic systems at state. This is totally a communist, what? No. This is totally a capitalist power move. And it's disgusting.
It's not a democracy if that's the way it works out. And that's at that point, it becomes, is this democratic? Does this break Constitution? Because we're now, I guess technically they are listening to their constituents, but they're listening to the ones that have big pockets and give them a lot of money and have a lot of power. And
That's
it's one
what's
of those.
frustrating about capitalism, though, is that businesses are treated as people.
This is why Russia can look at us like, capitalist pigs. And I'm like, you know what? First of all, Putin,
your
have
society
your own issues.
sucks, Russia. Let's
And
try that again.
All of your... I love this little, little topic because I love seeing the thing where it's like, so there used to be, like, some political climate in Russia, but the young people, like, our age, are just not interested in it. At all. None of them are. Because they're all like, what does it matter? If we try to go against Putin, he's going to get us put away, he's going to find a way to make us go away, and there's no way we can fight back. So, who cares? I'm in a country where things are fine, I'm just going to let things go as they are. They stopped caring. That's so sad. And that's the way that it works over there. Like,
that's kind of how it's been
people,
over here until recently.
Well, that's what the internet has been able to help with. And if there's anything that the Republican Party has had work against them, it's been the internet. Mm-hmm. Arguably, it's also been for them because the whole Russian colluding with our voting kind of made the internet work for them, especially when Russia buys ads on Facebook for the Republican Party to get Trump in office.
That's so fucked.
That's got some topic we could talk about sometime.
I mean, but like along the lines of net neutrality, I think what's so frustrating about this issue is that every single time it's brought up, everybody says no. And then it continues to get brought up because companies want to make more money. But the problem with that is that capitalism isn't sustainable in the state that it's in. Like, it just won't work. And net neutrality is one way that we've been able to net neutrality is one way that we've consistently been able to get new voices out there speaking and telling their stories so people can have empathy for others. Like, I'm kind of a liberal, but whatever. I believe that people deserve the chance to be heard. People of opposing opinions, people of my own opinions. Like, I don't know, it seems like that's what matters. Except for Nazis. Fuck Nazis. Don't kill people.
This is something I thought about. So I was watching a video about Wolfenstein. No, it was the honest trailer to Wolfenstein 2.
Wolfenstein?
It's a new game that came out that's is really, really freaking good. But Wolfenstein 2 had an honest game trailer. And one of the things that they said in it is, in a world where it's suddenly become a controversy to punch a Nazi. And I was like, ooh, hitting on some political stuff here. But part of me is like, why would I even say, wow, that's hitting on some political stuff? Because everyone in America should be like, you know what I want? Like, on my bucket list, I want someday to be able to just punch a Nazi in the face. Can't that be something that everyone has on their bucket list? Like, you just see someone on the street that has a swastika on their arm, and they're portraying it proudly. And it's one of those, I would want to walk up to them and say, hey, would it be all right if I quick punched you? I've always wanted to punch a Nazi. I'm asking politely, and it's something that America has been totally for until recently. All of a sudden, there's a controversy about. Well, it's. How often would you like to throw on your Twitter bio profile like, hi, I'm an actor, I'm a YouTuber, I have blonde hair, blue eyes, I went to college, and I punched a fucking Nazi in the face.
I mean...
it's one of those... don't you think it could be a bucket list thing?
I don't think it's a bucket list. I think my bucket list would be, to make sure that Nazis don't exist in proper society. Like, if you're a Nazi, you go to prison, or you, are like, hey, we don't kill people in this society because they're different from us. Like, we don't do that here. And also that goes along with, the whole racial prejudice against black men. And,
well, what's punching a guy in the face? It's going to hurt my hand just as much as it hurts his face.
Well, don't punch a person in the face. Punch him in the throat. The damage lasts longer. It's softer tissue, so you're not going to be hurting yourself. And then that makes them choke on their words. So
I don't want to punch them in the throat, though. It doesn't have the same feeling. Wow, what a topic to be talking about.
We're talking about net neutrality.
I wanted to talk about punching Nazis. What a cool thing.
For the next episode.
Okay, fine. But yeah,
okay.
Net neutrality. What was the last thing we were talking about? It's
we were talking about how oh shoot.
Well, let me bring
the
up a new
ACT.
topic, and it's still net neutrality, but it has to do with Portugal. Portugal has not had net neutrality, and have you seen the Twitter post, the Twitter
Yeah.
picture of how Portugal has to pay for YouTube, for messaging, for Instagram, all on separate packages. $5 to use messaging apps, $5 to
insane.
use picture posting apps like Instagram or Snapchat, $5 more to use YouTube or Vimeo or Twitch.
Well, it's putting a price tag on a voice. It's literally censorship with a price tag.
It's censorship. Like, it totally is. I have to choose which services I want to pay for in order to get the information that should be widely available to everyone in a free society. Like, this is undemocratic. It is unhelpful to anyone. And the whole thing was, this wasn't supposed to happen in Portugal at all, but since there were no regulations against it, corporations have the power to do this, and if they have the power to do it, they're going to do it. That's why our tax code is so freaking immense, is because we have to keep putting in different little rules to hold people in place so they don't find loopholes that we then have to fix and put something there. There's like this really specific example of a, pay your taxes in this certain way if you have these certain assets, and especially, or even if you have this certain situation that we now have to put in here because this one company from 1970 tried to do this, and we had to tell them no and make a policy to go against it.
Well, it's so irritating because all of these businesses want to get out of paying their taxes for a country that, like, we need serious infrastructure renovation because nobody's paying their proper taxes. Like, logically, for me, it makes sense that a tax code should be on kind of like a percentage or like a ratio. Like, everybody pays the same ratio for their income. So if it's like, this is a total example and not anywhere near the tax code, but let's say everybody pays like 5% of their income that, like, that's what you do. The richer people are going to end up paying more because they have a larger income. So it balances out.
But they also would not be paying, like, they still would have far more monies, I'm just going to go with that, far more monies at their disposal because it's a percentile. It's not like what's the word, integer? No, but it's not some value that makes it harder for them to buy what they need because they have as much money as they need already.
Yeah, especially with the way that the tax code is going right now, is that they have so many different ways that they can get away with not paying as much because there's incentives to do certain acts like donate money to like foundations and whatnot. But there's ways around that can make the money lead straight back to them and they still get the tax break. Like, it's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, hold on. Shoot. What is my... hold on one sec. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with my... Okay, never mind. Everything's fine. All right, sorry about that. It was a microphone thing where I thought I saw something on Audacity, but apparently everything was fine. Okay. Sorry. Wow, that was a tangent. But what I was going to say had to do with...
Hello?
Ah, shoot. What was it that you just said?
I was talking about capitalism and how it sustains rich people and allows them to get richer because of tax incentives.
Right. Oh, I had a really good point. Man, that's unfortunate.
But anyway, net neutrality.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
Obviously, we're both in favor of having net neutrality. We believe that everybody has the right to freedom of speech, even the people that we don't agree with.
I think net neutrality is one of those things that the internet is or will become or has to become a human right, because it is literally, the network is just the connection between people. It's literally, this person has the equipment and the means to communicate with this person or these people or every person on the planet. And it's the ability to communicate. And if we do not think we should be communicating with everyone, or we need to put a price tag on it, something is going to be seriously wrong. And
But
the
the
whole
interesting thing is that there's already a price tag on it. Like, there is a buy-in to getting the internet. You have to pay for an internet connection. You have to pay for a device that allows you access to the internet. To add another thing on top of that is just going to limit more people from being able to, like, use the internet and have free speech that's widely available.
Or it's even like, it's not so much that we don't have the option to, but it's that we have to now choose. It's not just given to us. We have to say, oh, I have to pay an extra few dollars to get the service. Meh, maybe I just won't buy it. That is the problem, is if we don't have people who are able to access this stuff really easily, we're going to lose that connection. And we're going to have people find themselves in these little bubbles that they can be influenced like in a cult way. Which is, in a way, a lot of people already are doing that.
Yeah,
and it's going to be even worse if we allow this to happen.
Yeah, and like especially with social media sites like Facebook, we recently have seen that a lot of people are already bubbling themselves in because of algorithms that keep them seeing what they want to see and not what they don't want to see. It's very interesting. We actually talked about this in a class that I took called Critical Digital Media Theory, about how algorithms on Facebook have been changing the way that people have been seeing news and other people's posts. Like, it's kind of scary. The example that was in the book that we read, that's I Know Who You Are and I Saw What You Did, is that a person went on their Facebook and they're like, I'm not seeing any posts from this one person that is a right-leaning person, and the person in the book is a left-leaning person. And so they were like, hey, are you seeing any of my posts on Facebook? And the person's like, no, I haven't seen any of them. And it was because of the Facebook algorithm. Like, it made it so you only see what you want to see, which is super, super dangerous.
Well, the issue with that you have is the whole point of Facebook is, yes, it's a way for people to communicate, but it's also like a solution that Mark Zuckerberg found to make money. And we can't fault him for that. This is a program that makes a lot of money and is extremely useful, but the way to increase profits would be to make people feel happier about what they're seeing and that they continue to see those happy things. They don't want to find controversy or things that go against what they think, because it's going to make their experience less happy. And part of it has to do with, well, I mean, let's be honest, you're probably not going to change your view unless you're willing to be open-minded. And, well, then you have that whole issue of, like, can you teach someone at all if you don't have their wanting ability to be open about whatever you're going to talk about that might be contradictory to what you already believe. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that, like, people just need to be smart enough to realize that that's the way it is. But
and I don't think a lot of people do, because the internet is so new. We're the first generation that grew up with it entirely. Yeah. Like, we were both born in 95. We never had a time before the internet. We never knew what it was like to live without it. And that has made us very complacent, I would say. I was just pulling up, I think this should be maybe the last thing we say about net neutrality. But I just pulled up the Mark Zuckerberg manifesto that he posted in February, this past February. He wants to make Facebook a nation, like a recognized nation of the world. Because it is. It's a global community. It's this different plane of existence, and you could have dual citizenship on Facebook and in, like, reality. Because so many people now are, and it has a lot of interesting, what's the word? It's like, by considering that Facebook itself could become a nation, we're opening ourselves up to the opportunity of, like, a gated community through the internet. And if net neutrality passes, something like Facebook being a nation would be even more difficult to accomplish, and would kind of be really detrimental to any progress that could happen with this nation. And what it may entail to have Facebook as a nation is a little bit scary, because there's not actually any land involved with it. It's an idea space. It's super weird. I can link the link to this manifesto.
That's so interesting. Like, I've never even considered something like that.
When you open your mind up to the possibility of it, it's something that I'm not comfortable with, because I don't believe Mark Zuckerberg should be the automatic president of a nation that doesn't exist in an actual plane of existence, but exists on a very, like, mental space. I also worry about the implications that that would cause. Like, what kind of things would he enact if you want to be a part of Facebook? Like, are there certain laws that you'd have to abide? Are there certain censorship laws that you would have to abide by? And if you disobey these laws, would you be kicked out of the nation? And how would that affect you in the real world? Like, everybody has a Facebook, and it's kind of a prerequisite to existing now, which sucks.
Part of me wonders if he would start a tax code for people who are part of the Facebook nation, which is
it's a lot to consider, and
odd.
I think with net neutrality and this kind of growing age of society, I think we really need to consider what kind of problems this could bring forth if we did have net neutrality, or did not have net neutrality is what I mean to say. Net neutrality allows for the freedom and the movement of speech across multiple nations, and closing down certain aspects of the internet keeps these ideas from flowing and keeps progress from being made.
We already have enough issues with China's censorship, Portugal's with their whatever they're doing. I actually don't know how the internet is in Russia, but I feel like it's odd. And Australia has barely any internet to speak of as far as we know anyways. Poor Australia with their awful, like 10 megabit per second internet or something like that. Where whenever they get
sometimes I don't know if Australia really exists.
They're still just a bunch of savages that the British sent all their inmates to and left them there to make up their own society.
Horrible.
Yeah.
As long as they don't have flying spiders, I'll visit once, I'm sure.
No, they just have spiders the size of plates.
Okay,
and platypuses. Whatever the hell those are.
Platypuses are adorable. Okay.
Yeah, but they've got poisonous barbs on their feet, and they'll take you out. Actually, they're really poisonous. Australia's a messed up place, man. Oh man. But they do have very nice beaches.
I think we both can agree that Australia is, in fact, weird.
I was going to say one last thing about net neutrality. This had to do with an article that I just saw posted on Twitter. It's titled, FCC ignored your net neutrality comment unless you made a serious, in quotations, legal argument. And this is from the Verge.
Oh.
And it's, I actually have a little bit to add to this. So it says here at the very top, the FCC received a record-breaking 22 million comments chiming in on the debate. Now, okay. It says that 7.5 of those 22 million were the exact same. Well, I mean, they had the copies of themselves posted all over. There was a lot of spamming. There's a lot of bots and stuff like that. But what I think I read a while, I don't know if it points this out in this article, but that when they take out the majority or all of the repeated comments, and you find only the ones that are genuinely, like, not spam bots, they're people trying to give their opinion, 98% of them are for net neutrality. 98%. And it's one of those, this is clearly what people who use the internet, who care about this, what they want. But Ajit Pai just does not care. It doesn't matter. If 100% of them, it doesn't matter. They're just, they're plebeians who don't provide serious legal arguments, which is part of it's like, oh, once this passes and you have to go to court to get this through the courtroom, like, then you're going to get some legal arguments and you're going to lose. God, I hope they would lose. Because, well, let's be honest, when the 14th comes around, they have 3 Republicans, one of them being Ajit, and 2 Democrats. The Republicans are probably going to pass this, and net neutrality is probably going to die.
I think the interesting thing about this is, you know, it's putting businesses on a level, well, not really. It's putting businesses and people against each other, and it's giving priority to businesses. They're treating them like more people than actual people.
Right.
And if you make the legal argument for it, they can be like, well, legally, these people are really important, and this would really benefit them, and this would really allow them to succeed, and whatever. But it's the common person who's not represented by a large, you know, corporation that are really, really going to suffer.
I think the biggest thing to point out about this, and honestly to point out about a lot of Republican values and tax code adjustments, are that we are going to create a free marketplace. We're going to get the government out of control so that people can choose as they like. People can choose the services they like, and other people don't have to pay for other people getting services like healthcare. So that means that all of these businesses have to be good, have to be nice to their people that are buying from them, and have to not screw up the market. Remember your Christian values. Oh, God, I could go on about Christian values. And that everything will be okay because the businesses are good people and they will respect you, your money, and your well-being.
But time and time again, we know that's not true.
They
know
just,
it isn't.
it's like they're just, they know that that's wrong. They know that that's not the way it's going to work, that people are corrupt. Like, I remember seeing an article about a $38, there was a $60 drug for a thyroid medication. You might actually know about this, but there's a thyroid medication that was something like $30 or $60 to buy, and was then increased to $600 for no reason, just because they could, and they're the only people that manufacture it, and they also own the patent on the drug. People do this. Not all of them. There are good businesses, but a lot of people do this.
Well, and the problem with this, and both net neutrality and healthcare have the same problem, and I will fight for healthcare. Like, healthcare and the way that it is currently is my hill that I will die on. But what I mean is that, but the thing is that healthcare and the treatment that people need it's non-negotiable. You get healthcare or you die. And businesses know this, and businesses are like, well, I guess I can charge exorbitant amount of money for this because, I mean, they're not going to say no. If they say no, they die. Or their livelihood is brought down to a level where they can't properly associate in like, normal society. And, like, net neutrality is the same way. Like, without net neutrality, it's everybody's livelihood. And if you have to pay in, you have to buy in, you can't function in our normal society as it now stands unless you have the money, which you might not get because corporations are going to leech you for everything that you have because their entire, like, structure is to make money and to make more of it every single quarter, which is not sustainable. Not for anyone.
You know what I think is kind of funny is there are a lot of atheists and agnostics who are better Christians than the Christians.
Valid.
You think about that? Like, that's crazy.
All the time.
But
well,
the one
my roommate was an atheist, and I am vaguely Christian, and she was like, how do you stay in the church when you have so many dicks around? And I'm like, I pick and choose what I like from the Bible, and I go from there, because that's what everybody else does.
Only people are just, it's not, people don't know what it means to be Christian, or they believe what they want to believe is Christian, and it's just, that's why our world, there are Christians who are just as bad as radical Islamists, and it's really sad, because there's a lot of good Islamic people as well.
I know plenty of people who are Muslim at my school. Like, nobody's going to be an extremist, and they take the Quran the same way I take the Bible. They pick and choose, and they pick the good stuff. A lot of people just pick the good stuff.
Yeah. I'll go into a Christian debate sometime, because I've told people before, like, I've taken classes, I know how to debate this stuff, and I also know, like, it's really easy to defend the correct way to look at Christianity, and if you don't believe that way, you're not actually a Christian. But I'll go into that another time. Like, it's super fun, but also super polarizing, because no one agrees with you unless they have an open mind about it. Mm-hmm. But the gist of it is... You want to
end on something light?
Lighthearted? We have a few minutes, yeah. All
right, here we go. We're going to talk about...
That was just all I was going to say is, like, net neutrality... contact your representatives. You can do this. You can make a change. You just need to make people know. We have had to contact so many people to make sure that our word is heard, because apparently 98% isn't even enough. But just keep.
For anybody
don't
who's
stop.
Anybody who's really self-conscious about talking on the phone, there are options, and I can link them in the description of this podcast. The one I know fairly well is called RebelBot, and you basically type in what you want to say, and it will call your representative for you. So that's a really nice opportunity if you are definitely not feeling comfortable about talking on the phone.
Yeah. So we can only hope that people... Oh, that was what I was going to mention is... healthcare, universal healthcare is not a question of when, not a question of if it's going to happen, it's a question of when. Because countries want all of their people to live and be happy and support the country and make money and make our society grow and become bigger. What a great way to do that than keeping them alive and healthy and functioning, healthcare is
Valid.
something that will happen. That universal free healthcare will happen to everyone. The issue is, do we have the money to support it? Do we have the resources to support it? That's the argument we have. And honestly...
Is that what we're arguing next week?
Sure, but that's something that's... We do have the resources, we just have to commit to it and say, you know, I want my neighbor who I may not know to be safe and healthy and happy like I am. And not think, I want me to be happy with as much money as I can have because that might make me happy. But that's another time.
Alright.
Yeah, what was the last one you wanted to talk about?
All right, let's end on something light. Let's talk
God.
about waffles versus pancakes.
Ah, yes. What did I say? It was
You were for pancakes.
the pancake. If I say what I wanted to say, but never mind. Pancakes are great.
Waffles are great.
You're bad.
Wrong. I think
Bless
what
you.
I like about waffles is that there's more gluten-free options available to me for waffles because, you know, you can use sturdier grains like rice and you can make it work and blah, blah, blah. The pancakes are tricky to make if you're a gluten-free person. They may be delicious because waffles are also delicious, but waffles are so much easier for me as a gluten-free person.
Wait, so you can't just use the same ingredients for waffles as you can for pancakes?
No. They're made in a completely different way.
Man, this isn't even an argument because you have the gluten-free factor. If, like, I was in a house with a gluten-free person, I'd be like, no, let's always get waffles because that makes things easier for you.
But
and
here's
we won't
the
have to worry
thing.
about pancakes.
Here's the thing. If I'm not arguing that point, waffles have a texture that makes them even more delicious because okay, so you have your nice and toasty waffle, and you put some butter over it, you put some syrup over it, you start cutting it up, and then you have those little pockets of deliciousness that are just covered. They're just these masses of like cells of butter and sugar and ugh.
Yeah,
You don't
you
get
know what
that
else?
with a pancake.
They're also not even. You get chunks of super buttery cells, and then chunks of, oh, I forgot to put butter and syrup in this one. Or you have to put a ton of syrup on the entire thing to cover each and every cell, and it ends up being way more butter and way more syrup than you would have had otherwise on pancakes.
But, like, Eric, think about a waffle like you think about life. There are good pockets, and there are bad pockets.
Oh.
And the mixture of them, they make a really satisfying life.
That's... No.
We're getting existential.
Why have pockets of, you know, some good, some bad, when you can just have one perfect pancake? You don't ever go to a waffle luncheon. It's always a pancake luncheon.
What?
You're like, what is it? It's gonna be something like...
I can't hear you.
Oh, shoot. Salvation Army, or something like that.
Hello?
They have a pancake luncheon. Can you hear me?
You're, like, going back and forth of fast and slow.
My recording's fine. But yeah,
Okay.
my computer was doing something. It was trying to update again. But pancake luncheons, those are a thing. And you want to go to a pancake luncheon, you're going to stand in line for a while, granted. But you're standing in a line where this dude is up there with his pancake squirter machine above a...
Machine.
I don't know what to call it, but you know what
A
I'm talking
squirt
about.
bottle?
No. It's like a metal object that he can, like, move around the table like a printer. Or move around the stove like a printer.
A bladder.
Yeah, something like that. And then these pancakes will just come out of those right onto the stove top and just sit there for the perfect amount of time, and then they flip, and then you sit there for another perfect amount of time, and then they throw the pancakes up into the air for you to catch. But if you don't catch it, it's okay. It's not a big deal. He'll just put another pancake on there for you. Because that's what he's about. Because pancakes are happy and fun for the whole family. You know what you can't
I
do with
want the
waffles?
fix
You
for
can't do
that.
that. You have to put waffles in an enclosed, tight container that you just, it's the one single container. And for 2.5 minutes, that waffle will be in there, probably upside down, closed off from the world in a dark space, not sure when it's going to come out. And then you pull it out, maybe, unless you forget about it, and it burns. Yeah, who's happy then? No one. Because a
but here's the
pancake
thing,
isn't so
Eric.
happy. Yeah.
It's just like a diamond. You put it in a dark place, you know, a very dark and very high pressure place, and you let it sit there for a little bit, and then when you open up, you have this gorgeous, delicious, lush thing you can put in your mouth. And
Those buzzwords.
think about how great and interesting your life has been with your good pockets of buttery, warm syrup, and your bad pockets of just nice, doughy plains.
But let's
They're
not forget
even
the
that
bad pockets.
They're just the cells of things that have yet to be fully realized. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
Well, listen, it's been an hour. I think that's probably where we're going to have to leave it. So we'll probably just send off at this point. That'll be
All
our...
right. Yeah.
That'll
Thanks
be
for
our
joining
show.
us on our trip through high pockets of buttery deliciousness and low pockets of not buttery deliciousness.
Or the single pocket of all perfect, symmetrical, cylindrical, circular... You know, spheres are like the perfect thing in the universe. All right, I'm done though. But,
Okay.
Yeah, that's our show then. All right.
We'll be back next week to talk about healthcare, maybe, possibly, and whether or not toilet paper rolls should be upside down or right side up,
Or something.
or over or under, however the hell you say that. We'll also talk about neti pots because they're stupid,
They're great.
and I have
and
scientific
I am
research
talking
to back
because of
me
them.
up. Okay. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us.
Yep. My name's Eric FreediiFree,
My name's Randina.
and we'll just talk to you next week, I guess.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We did it! We did it! We did a podcast!
Wait, I didn't stop recording. Oh wait, no, I did.